What's up, guys? Mark Drumheller, USFL Week 9 Best Bets. We are ramping up, getting ready for the end of the season. Coming off a big sweep last week, I'm Mark Drumheller here with Dave Gleckner from Win Daily Sports. Dave, we were aligned on the total. That one hit, old reliable with Pittsburgh, and then we both hit our sides last week. So now that we're getting towards the end of the regular season, 2 more weeks left before we hit the playoffs, seems like we're catching our stride.
We are. Can I just take the Pittsburgh under and we can wrap this thing up? I'm ready to take them again.
Right. So am I, dude. We'll talk about that one in a little bit, but it's the easiest total on the board, man. It's
I don't even have to give you analysis. Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy. It's
crazy
40 how
again, right? It's like 41.
It's down to 41. I got it at 41 and a half, which is fine. But anything in the 40s is good. I can't believe they're still hanging this in the 40s. But listen, Week 9, almost every team is still in the playoffs. We look in the North Division. Philadelphia leads with a 4-4 record, right? They're the worst. Definitely all the best teams, top 4 teams are probably in the South Division. Unfortunately, 2 of them are going to make the playoffs. But Philadelphia leads at 2-2 in the North. And then you have Michigan right behind them, a game behind them, and then Pittsburgh and New Jersey at 2-6 at the bottom of the standings in the North. Then you go over to the South, Dave, and it's Birmingham leading the pack, best record in the USFL at 6-2, and the other 3 teams are sitting there at 5-3, ready for them to make a mistake. And these teams are going to cannibalize each other these last 2 weeks. It's all interdivision games, so it's going to be a war of attrition to see who ends up here at the top of the standings and which 2 teams in the South make it into the playoffs. Because I do believe that they'll definitely be the 2 best teams in the field.
Doesn't it feel like the XFL once again? I mean,
it does. It is a very similar feel, man. Listen,
Seattle,
I wouldn't mind if the North Division winner wins the whole thing, but I do have a Philadelphia future and a Houston future, but not real confident either of those tickets, to be honest. But the way things have flipped after every couple weeks in this league, I think we could definitely, all tickets are probably still live, but it's going to be interesting. But let's get into our picks. We're going to start with the total because I have a feeling that we're aligned again. Pittsburgh and Michigan. This is the game that leads off the weekend. Pittsburgh 1-point favorites against Michigan. We have a 41-point total. And Dave, here it is. I mean, Pittsburgh last week, we played the under 20-19. This is a team, they have the number 1 defense in the USFL in yards allowed. They yards gained, they have the worst offense. Like, this team was built for unders, and they've been cashing 6-1-1 on the season. We're going to keep hammering it all the way home. And the best part about this is, like, we're getting another total in the 40s. Only twice this year, Pittsburgh games have gone in the 40s. And, we get another total in the 40s against the Michigan team that they scored in the 20s the past 2 weeks. Offense might have looked a little bit better, but they're 7th in the USFL in scoring 17.6 points a game. Only team worse, the team that they're playing, Pittsburgh. Yeah. So we get the USFL's 2 lowest scoring teams. We get a total in the 40s, with teams that rarely get into the 40s. So I think this is an easy under.
I do, and I lean under, no doubt about it. And it's just, hey, I don't have to say much more than what you just said. 2 low-scoring teams. The 41 just feels like stealing. And I know we saw this 2 weeks ago when we talked about it. And I was actually like, I'm scared of this. This one, I'm not. I just feel these 2 teams cannot play at the right pace. The only thing that gets us is turnovers here. But even then, 2 very bad red zone offense teams. Like, I just can't see this one going to 41. And as for the side goes, I'll tell you, you tell me if I'm crazy, but I see a game where I think Pittsburgh wins this one. And what I say by that is, like, this spread just doesn't make much sense to me with how bad Pittsburgh's been lately. And Michigan's been getting better, especially with the switch at quarterback. But to be a 1-point spread, I think Pittsburgh has a real shot in this game. So I'm leaning to them on the side.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to come down to who turns the ball over because both teams are going to be playing field position, trying to run the football. I think that, another thing that works in our favor as far as the under is this is a big game for Michigan, right? Michigan 1 game behind Philadelphia. Michigan is sitting in a playoff spot, 2nd in the North Division going into the week. So they need to win. to secure that. And not only that, if Philadelphia loses, they can catch Philadelphia for that first spot in the North Division. So there's a lot on the line for Michigan. So I think they're going to play tight. I think they're going to play conservative. Pittsburgh's been playing that way all year. So I love this under. I think it's a smash spot. As far as the side, I don't know, man. It's going to come down to who makes less mistakes. I know that sounds like a cop out, but I don't really trust either of these teams, to be honest with you. So I just think play the over. And just sit back and collect your money at the end of the day. The under. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And just collect your money. I mean, I think this is an easy one. So
I'm okay with that. I just say if you're looking for a side, I just think it's a lot for Michigan. I think they've been, squeaking some games out. And obviously they won the first matchup. But I think Pittsburgh just might be the side here and make chaos in the North. But
yeah, I agree with you.
Under's the better play.
Again, it being an important game for Michigan –
huge.
People think like, oh, must win. Typically that motivates a team to play harder and win. Typically, the pressure breaks teams, especially teams that aren't good, like Michigan. So I would probably lean Pittsburgh as well if I had to take a side, just more of like a fade to Michigan. Really don't trust them, but, we'll see how this one turns out. But definitely the under is the play. It's going to keep going down, so get it now at 41. I released it a little bit earlier in the week at 41.5, I believe. So that's the play. I mean, on the total. Now let's get to the side. Let's talk about who's going to win these football games. I'm going to let you kick things off, with your best bet on the side last week. You nailed Memphis to showboats. The line was a little weird. A lot of people were wondering, why the line was so small. Memphis coming in is underdogs against New Jersey, and they kind of, I don't want to say they beat them by 9 points, but they handled them pretty good. I mean, the game wasn't competitive. So, Memphis looking real good. 5 games straight, plus 600 in the futures market. I wouldn't be sad if I had a Memphis ticket right now, but I don't have one, unfortunately. But plus 1,800 going into last week. So it's coming down. But I think Memphis is a pretty solid team.
They're very solid. I mean, we've watched this whole season go along with the big roller coaster swings from left to right, up and down. And if you've been on the seesaw, you've been on the right side of Memphis lately. And I'm going to stay on the right side of Memphis at -1 going to New Orleans. Another good win last week. Like you said, 5 in a row now, starting the season 0-3. Cole Kelly, a quarterback, has seemed to just figure things out a little bit for them. They're good
5-1. 5-1 since he took over, man. That's pretty good.
And on the season, averaging 21 points since he took over, I think is 24, but they've been good enough, right? And that's all I need right now in a game that's going to be, a big decision maker in where they get into the playoffs in the South Division. So I'm going to take the show, both the hotter team of the two. Yeah, New Orleans is solid. Like I like New Orleans all around, but I just feel like I'm going to ride the momentum this week. And Memphis is my momentum train right now. Take them -1. Feel real good about them extending that to a 6-game win streak going into the last week of the season.
Yeah, I like it. A lot of people are just waiting for regression to come because Memphis is just winning the turnover battle week after week, creating turnovers on defense. But I don't think that's going to happen this week against this New Orleans team. I mean, New Orleans, all the talent in the world, constantly shoot themselves in the foot. McLeod Bethel-Thompson has thrown interceptions in 6 straight games. Has 5 in his past 3 games. So they've been turning the ball over like crazy. So I think Memphis is probably sitting here salivating, looking at this matchup. And again, this is going to be a pressure cooker. The loser of this game is in a lot of trouble in a jam-packed South Division. So
what you just said was huge, right? Mm-hmm. Turnovers. First outing was 17-10 Memphis, 3 turnovers by New Orleans. So it's a huge problem for New Orleans.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, since they started season like 3-0, it's been a problem ever since. So I like Memphis here too. I mean, I'm not going to bet against them in this spot. I think they're the much cleaner team here, and these teams are all kind of tight. You can tell by the standings. So I think it makes a lot of sense to grab the showboats. Love it. So I'm going to move on to my best bet of the week, and I'm going to go with the New Jersey Generals here. And this is interesting. 2-6 team playing the Philadelphia Stars. These 2 teams played back in week 5. Stars won 24-21 in what was the weirdest game ever played in professional football.
Was this the 8 Stars won game?
Stars won 24-21 and didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Kicked 8 field goals. New Jersey was turning the ball over all over the place, 4 turnovers. And, Philadelphia couldn't get anything on Jersey's defense, but they ended up, being in field goal position enough to kick 8 field goals and ended up winning the game. But when you dig into the box score in this game, Dave, New Jersey outgained them on a yards per play basis, 6.7 to 2.9. They were the much better team on the field, like I said, and they're not a team. They haven't been great, but they're not a team that has been really undisciplined and turning the ball over like crazy all year. It was a really out of characteristic game. Darius Victor, the running back, fumbled the ball. He was like one of the best players in the league last year, fumbled the ball like 3 times in that game against Philadelphia. So I throw that one out the window. I think Philadelphia is, a very average team. And I like that Mike Riley, for the Generals head coach, finally benched Kyle Luetta last week, brought in Dakota Prokop, and the offense looks so much better. And, he started, making plays, driving down the field, got him back, whether in the game against Memphis, but, at least made that game competitive. So I like Prokop here at quarterback with the Generals. I think against this Philadelphia team, he can get the job done. Stribling's hurt. Colburn's hurt. Philadelphia really limping into this game. So I think this is a spot. I mean, this is a spot for the Generals. You can play them on the money line if you want, but I just be more safe with the points here. The last, I want to say, 10 games, have been decided by one score or less, in this league. So it's just, it's a very, very lots of close, tight games. So having 2 points in your pocket isn't a bad thing. So I'm just going to play it straight up, not play it on the money line, but I do like the New Jersey Generals here.
And imagine if they do win, and I'll throw that out there. And I like the points better than, even though it's a number off the key number. 3-6 is still in it going until last week.
Yep. Because Philadelphia is going to be 4-5. They win this game.
And then if Pittsburgh beats Michigan, it's 4-5 and 3-6s, and it's a wild finish. So I'm not saying that's going to go into the factor of how it's refereed, but I'm telling you, it ain't a bad thing for the USFL.
If they want to get some eyeballs on these Week 10 games, it would be nice if they were all important. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm
sure they wouldn't mind a couple more eyeballs there at the old Fox offices. The way this league's been going this year, they got nobody in the stands. It's been a rough one.
They maybe 4.
It just seems like it's everybody's parents. I don't think anyone else is there, but Birmingham does a decent job, I think, when the Stallions play, but that's about it.
True. But that's part of like having it down there last year, right?
Yep. So before we get out of here, we're talking offline. We're going to hit you with one more game. Birmingham at Houston, another rematch from Week 5. Houston won 27-20, I want to say, in that game. And, now Houston's getting 3.5 points against Birmingham. Birmingham, 6-2, best record in the league. But again, all 3 teams in the South Division nipping at their heels. Dave, I think we're on the same side on this one. I think there's a little bit of value with the dog.
Yeah, listen, I mean, here's where I'm at, and you're probably similar. Houston's the king of the one-score games. And, I mean, they're 4-2 in those one-score games overall. That's straight up, not against the spread. So 6 of their 8 have come down in one-score games. And I think when you get battle-tested like that, I would take the points no matter what. And 3.5, give me the key number with the hook. I do like Houston in this one. I had a Houston futures a few weeks ago. I think you did too. I do think they're good enough. Now, they're playing the best team in the league, and rightfully so. Probably maybe even the MVP, right? Now it's Magoo. But I just think Houston's the right side in this one. They're a battle-tested team that knows they got to win this game. Otherwise, they are in deep, deep trouble going into next week. So I like Houston, maybe even outright, but I'll take the 3.5.
Yeah, I think they're live too, but I'll just take the 3.5. It's a key number. I mean, it's above the key number, so, no need to get cued here. But like I said, Houston beat this team already this season. They did it behind their running game. Mark Thompson had 3 touchdowns in that game, and that is really the key matchup here, right? So you look at the Birmingham defense, they are second worst rushing defense in the USFL. You can really bleed them with the run game, and Houston has the best running back in the USFL and Mark Thompson. He leads the league in rushing touchdowns. and yards rushing per game. So the total yards he doesn't, but the per game stuff, because he missed a couple games during the injury. He is the league's premier back. And I think that whenever you can get a dog above a key number like 3, it is going to be run centric against a team that can't stop the run, it's worth a shot. It's not my best bet. Jersey's the best bet, but I think there's value here at Houston, and I'll definitely have a wager on them.
I love it. So we touched them all. We went right through the slate.
We did. We hit them all. We ended up hitting all 4, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah. A couple best bets, one total, and a little bonus. And I love it. We're on the same side on pretty much all of them. So let's go get another sweep.
Let's get the sweep. So, guys, we'll be back. We appreciate you tuning in. Mason, make sure you download the Sharp app. Hop into Discord. Link is in the description. They're doing a great job of prize picks every day. Parlays are hitting in this Discord. We have the Proptimizer, AI prediction models, everything you need to be a Sharp Bettor. So make sure you download the app and join the party. Listen, NHL's winding down. NBA's winding down, but plenty of action this summer, with the, with Major League Baseball and plenty other sports. And we got guys in there dropping KBO winners. So we're hitting everything over at the Sharp app. Come join the team, hit the Discord. We'll see you guys next week.